Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. My name is Caitom and today we are building an apartment building in the world of San Myshuno. So the idea initially came from Miss Griffey, but the real inspiration was really Simlush's eco-industrial apartment, and you'll definitely see what I mean when I work on the backside of the build, largely because I just wanted to include something that wasn't just a pool. But I will have both of their builds linked in the description box if you want to give it a watch. Please do, because they are both amazing builders. So the shell of the building is really as simple as I can make it. I mean, I mostly lean towards symmetry when it comes to these larger builds, and it also makes sense to me that this type of residential build is quite simple in shape. But depending on how you want to draw the floor plans of each apartment, it can prove to be either a blessing or a curse. And in my case, because I wanted to avoid having the same floor plan for each apartment, it was a bit of a curse, but no worries, everything has been figured out by the time we reached the end of the build. But yeah, it was honestly kind of difficult because I knew I wanted to include, or not really include, just really capitalize on the huge windows that I include, which by the way come from the most recent EP. I think if I chose a larger lot and made the shell a little bit larger, I probably would have been able to include like those large windows on all sides of the build, but I just kind of went with a mix of growing together and base game windows, surprisingly, to fill the exterior walls. And also, surprisingly, the build did not take that long to finish, I don't think. If I remember correctly, it took me around 2 hours, 2-ish hours to finish it, and I think that's because I specifically chose not to furnish any of the apartments. Well, besides adding like a bed, a stove, and a fridge, largely for layout purposes, and that is because I haven't yet decided if I want to furnish all of the apartments or just a few, but you know, you guys can just let me know if you want to see that in the comments. But yeah, I think I am considering furnishing maybe like just a couple apartments because all of the floor plans are different. I made sure of that. And oh, there are 6 apartments in this, you know, the whole building, and 2 of them have 2 bedrooms instead of just the 1. So I might consider doing either both of the big ones or just 1, and then maybe 2 small ones. But like I said, you guys can just let me know if you want to see that. And also, if you want to download this for yourself and, you know, furnish the building by yourself, you can find it on the gallery under my ID CAITOM, and it is listed as Salt House Apartments. Yes, named after the lot that I built this on. And can I just mention the small obsession I have with this particular lot? Because it's a large part of why the Spice District used to be my favorite neighborhood. And okay, let me set the scene. Imagine this, younger me finally getting my hands on the first expansion, well, on my first expansion pack, and it comes with apartments, plus my other obsession of building with an industrial style, and honestly, you could say it was a match made in heaven. And this lot was just like perfect for when I wanted to play outside of the apartments, but also continue participating in the festivals, which happen quite often, to be honest. Sometimes a bit way too often when I'm playing, but yeah. I also remember when it first snowed in my game and I was playing in San Myshuno, it was really feeding into my I want to live in the city fantasy. But enough about that, and let's talk about the build. So right here, I'm finally deciding that having that weird plus sign in the middle of the building was really weird and also didn't make that much sense because I wouldn't really have that much room to actually place some furniture down. And as I was making the floor plans, that was a large issue that I came across. I don't know if that's surprising or not, considering how small these now seem, because when I was building it, I was like, wow, these are really spacious. I could probably fit like 2 or maybe even 3 beds, well, bedrooms. And alas, I was able to fit at least 1, and you know, for the others, we're just we're just gonna assume that all of the floor plans make sense. Oh, one thing I just want to point out is as I was searching for landscaping inspiration on Pinterest, I found a picture of an apartment building that looks exactly like this. And I was so shocked because I wasn't really building off of any inspiration in general. I tried to build this a couple times before, and that's how I knew that I wanted to have these sort of like black bump outs, but like the whole main building is, you know, city living brick. But yeah, that was really weird and uncanny, but also kind of expected. Well, not that surprising considering how simple the front is. But yeah, here we are working on the back side. I am using this debug fence, by the way, and it took a lot of alt placing to finally get it where I wanted it to be. And I also ended up alt placing it off camera so it lined up with the actual grid and not like in the middle of the square. Which, I mean, you'll see what I'm talking about once I finally place down the floor tiles. But here I am in the front, just kind of seeing what I can add to make it seem like the front of an apartment building. I have never stayed in an apartment. Well, at least I don't remember staying in one. And definitely not a hotel this fancy. Or in this style, to be honest. So I tried to keep it simple with these base game bushes, and then I also considered adding a Strangerville aloe vera plant, but I realized it may have looked a little goofy if I were to draw out these little fake planter boxes. So I do end up deleting those and just deciding on picking out trees for now. And can I just say, I think I might be in love with these birch trees. It's a base game tree that I don't know if I've seen like be used in any of the base game worlds, but yeah, these birch trees are really nice. Honestly, all of the birch trees in The Sims 4 are super nice, like the ones from the Cats and Dogs expansion and Cottage Living. Although I will say the Cottage Living ones look a lot more realistic compared to Cats and Dogs, but you know, they each have their own charms. Right now, I'm just scrolling through the rest of base game debug, just trying to see what I can add to make it seem a bit more realistic. And I'm just kind of going off what I've seen other people do on their more realistic residential builds. But in the end, I decide to not really include anything like too detail-y because I don't know if I said this earlier in the build, but I just wanted to keep the landscaping simple. And that's mainly because I really don't know what I would have added besides a sign. And can I just say, I was considering using this debug item of like a store name and using a Dine sign to like hold it up, but wouldn't you know it, the Dine sign is actually a bit too simple for me, so I just decided to use the new one from Growing Together because I knew they would have some stuff for seemingly commercial buildings or like community lots because of the new rec center lot that they added. And alas, I was correct. I think it kind of fits the vibe with like a sort of modern industrial feel, although it's a bit more woody than I would have anticipated. But yeah, right here I'm just making a little bike parking space. I'm sure there's a word for that, but you know, I don't really tend to remember these kinds of words, so I'm just gonna call it like a bike port or something. And I'm just using these little debug items. I think the fence is from high school years, and I want to say the little overhead thing was from high school years, but you know, I don't really keep that in. And you know, I think the bike thing makes a lot of sense when you're in a city, especially with a city as, I want to say, as walkable as this one. And I think you would probably not want to worry about car payments or just like car maintenance in general, just because you'll probably be getting a lot of taxis, a lot of Ubers. But you know, as someone who isn't a city slicker, I'm just basing this off of what I see from like people online. But yeah, here we are finally working on the back side of the build. I don't know if you can see, but if you just squint just like a little bit, you can see there's like a half tile of space between the little fake fence and the actual floor tile of the patio. And no worries, after staring at it for like way too long, I finally decided to scooch that fence a little inwards just so it hits it on the grid. But yeah, whatever you're seeing now is basically whatever I keep in this little space. There's a little community garden, there is a pool, there are some lounge chairs, and I remember to include the little water balloon bucket that came with seasons. I think I was also considering adding a kiddie pool, but I never know how to lay out these things, so I kind of like refrain from that. But you know, thinking about it now, I realize I probably could have added some items from the splash pad stuff that came with growing together, and I don't know why I didn't think of it now. The backyard area is kind of where I said I was taking a lot of inspiration from Simlish's build. Of course, if you haven't seen their build, please go check it out. It is linked in the description box below. And right now, I'm just working on the pool. I didn't really know what to do to make it seem industrial-like or modern-like, so I just kind of pick a plain tile and some plain pool decoration and call it a day. I believe after this, I finally start working on the interior. Oh, so one thing about the footage, I kind of reversed the whole decorating the inside with finally drawing out the floor plans, and I thought it would make more sense to you as like the viewer watching me work through the process. But yeah, I just wanted to put that out there. And this is the, I want to say, the second floor hallway. So this is where I imagined I would probably put like a community laundry space. I don't have a designated room, and I wanted to have it on the second floor just so anyone who's on the third floor can just walk down a flight of stairs, or anyone who's on the first floor can walk up a flight of stairs. So all 3 floors aren't really gonna have to do that much walking. Of course, it's in The Sims, and you probably wouldn't want a laundry room in here anyways, just because your sim, if you choose to live on the 3rd floor, is gonna have to do a lot of walking just trying to go in and out of the building. And to make up for my lack of owning the laundry day pack, I kind of used these base game counters. I turned them around and used Tool to lower them, just so it doesn't look like anything recognizable in the game. Yeah, but other than that, the rest of the floors don't really have that much else to it, besides some wall decorations like the mural from high school years and just some base game paintings and, you know, some seating here and there. There's really not much else to it. Like I mentioned before, I don't know what else I would add here, although looking back at it now, it seems I suddenly have a whole bunch of ideas. I think I could have added maybe a chess table, a little gaming table from Growing Together, or just like some more useful items instead of, you know, just seating and, like I mentioned, plants. But yeah, I mean, it's not too bad. I do like the simplicity of it all and how it's not really overwhelming. I think maybe a carpet would have added some more interest to this, but if I were to add a carpet, I don't know if I want it to be like a runner, like a runner rug or whatever they're called. They're just long and skinny. But yeah, finally we are working on the floor plans. So I guess one thing I should mention is that I don't end up recording all of the floor plans. As I was working my way up from the 1st floor to the 3rd floor, I was like already fed up. So, you know, that just means I didn't get all of the footage. I think it cuts out in the middle of the 2nd floor, I don't think. But of course, do not worry. I will end up placing pictures of all of the floors at the end of the video. I think right now I have all of them, or I think I have all the floor plans, because I know as I was editing the pictures, I was like, oh wait, I only have 3 pictures? I think I need 4. So just like a little mishap on my part. But yeah, I think we're still on the ground floor, just kind of putting some lights down, putting some walls down. This is when I realized that the whole me doing like okay, I think the total room is 10 tiles by, I want to say like 6, maybe 7. It's really not that much in the grand scheme of things. Wait, are there 6 apartments? Hold on. I need to do some math right now. If there are 4 apartments on each level and there are 3... Oh my god. There are 12 apartments here. I'm sorry. This is... You know, I'm just gonna end it here. As always, thank you all so much for watching. If you have enjoyed today's video and would like to see more, don't forget to like and subscribe if you're not already, and feel free to join the Discord if you want to hang or chat or just simply vibe with other people who enjoy Sims content. Anyone is welcome. Of course, if you want to download this build, it'll be on the gallery under my ID caitom. Tray files and details of the build will be in the description box below. Thank you again for chatting with me, and I hope to see you guys in the next one. Bye for now.